give the clap. So that way we can sync the sound and we can test these things. Brent, locked in now. Ready?
Ready.
What's up, everybody? Ryan Henry here for the UC Recovery Podcast, and I've got my friend Ryan Barnhart from the Upper Cumberland Workforce Development Board. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, yeah.
Thanks for coming, Ryan.
Absolutely, Ryan. This is going to be
Ryan.
weird, right?
Yeah, right. Ryan.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, are you from Cookeville originally?
I am not. So I am from Ohio.
Okay.
I was born in Ohio, Canton, Ohio in 1975, and then as a baby we moved to Staten Island, New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So my granddad started a work there in Staten Island, a ministry,
Yeah.
a church. So we moved there to help him and spent about 12 years there and lived in Tennessee, most of the rest of that time. Lived in East Tennessee for a few years and then Cookeville since, around 1989.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been here for a while now.
I've been here for a while, yeah.
You've seen it grow.
I have seen it grow. I enjoy seeing those pictures that they put in the paper, like it doesn't seem that long ago when everything looked empty.
Right.
Now it certainly has grown quite a bit.
Wow. And with that, now you find yourself at the Workforce Development Board. How in the world did you end up there?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I kind of took a non-traditional route. I don't know, we can go all the way back. Graduated from Cookeville High School in 93, and I went to Tech for a semester, and I was just kind of burnt out with work, and so I went, or with school rather, so I went to work. And got married in 96, and we had three beautiful daughters along the way, and let's see. Intermediately, I'd keep going back to Tech here, Tech there, and getting some hours in. It wasn't until I was 38 that I actually got my undergrad, and then I got my master's at 40. But before then, I'd been a minister. I still am a minister. So I'd been pastoring, that whole time there. So I always say that's community development.
Oh yeah.
Because it is really.
Oh, yeah.
When we think about the whole holistic side of things, I hate it when we try to leave the spiritual side out.
Right.
That's a big part of who we are here in the Upper Cumberland.
It sure is.
Yeah.
What is the Upper Cumberland Workforce Development Board? What is that?
So it's a lot, and I had to make sure I got myself some cheat notes.
You haven't been the director all that long now, have you?
No, it's just been since November. So kind of tell you how I got to that point. In 2016, I got a job with vocational rehabilitation, the Department of Human Services, and I started there, and they help individuals with disabilities to go to work. So I started there in 2016 as a field supervisor, and within, about 18 months, I'd moved up to the rehab center manager. Basically, we would bring individuals into the training center, teach them how to work, and teach them soft skills, teach them what it would take to get a job and keep a job. A lot of them were the high school students that would come over, and we'd work with them. And Ryan, they were the best. They were. I loved that job. And then I actually got promoted to program manager, where I oversaw 5 of those rehab centers, Cookeville, all the way up to Elizabethton, East Tennessee. And I really, really did enjoy doing that and working with those people, getting them into the workforce. And when you got them into the workforce, they were some of the most loyal employees. Yeah. I mean, you talk about this day and age where retention's a real problem. These individuals, they just, and it was a lot of entry level positions, but when they got in there, they were great employees and could still go around town to where we place some of those kids, and they're still working there 10 years later. So that's pretty cool. But I think, in my opinion, Voc kind of lost their vision a little bit. So in 2021, I went over to the Chamber of Commerce and became their Director of Education and Workforce. And that's when we kind of slid in under the Empower grant. And so we had the training center over there on East Spring Street, where we taught soft skills to individuals who are either on government assistance or qualify for government assistance. And so we were, it was very similar to what I was doing with Voc, trying to get a targeted population, into the workforce and retain their employment. But it was different because a lot of them were, that government assistance, that benefits cliff. When they gain enough wages, they lose their subsidies. So it was a whole set of new challenges, working with those individuals. But I enjoyed it very much, and that segued into the executive director position at Workforce coming open, and I had been sitting on the Workforce board for about 8 years.
Okay.
I was on the executive committee for probably about 6 years of that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but I will tell you this: you think sitting on the executive committee, sitting on a board, you think you know what's going on, and you really don't have much of a clue. And I found that out within the last 6 months, sitting in this
drinking
seat.
from a fire hose.
Oh yeah, it's there are a lot of moving parts to Workforce and what we do, and I just got through writing the local plan, and that's a big part of what we do. We really set the strategic planning and the vision part of the regional workforce, and it covers all the 14 counties of the Upper Cumberland. So
what are some of the highlights of that?
Yeah, so we have to figure out what industries are growing, what sectors are growing, what skills employers are struggling to find with their employees, what those gaps are for the employees. And so basically we align the local workforce plan with those things, and then also with the state and federal priorities. So it becomes a matter of really making sure that our employers are getting the workforce that they need, and making sure that the employees are ready to go into the workforce.
What gaps are you seeing, or is it too soon to tell, or what's the industry looking for right now?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. It's your typical barriers, transportation and things of that nature. COVID really changed the scope of, and really the outlook of the workforce, because our employers had to do whatever it took to keep their employees during that stretch, right?
Yeah.
And then I think people got used to that, and so it's been a little bit difficult to try and rein that back in. But at the same time, I think some companies are thriving, with the work from home, the remote work, things like that. So it's childcare is another huge issue, right. And I know that, we're working on that at the UCDD. Our partners there are really trying to tackle those issues, and we're actually doing some benefits cliff boot camps still at the training center through Empower, where we work with individuals that are on TennCare, and that's the one subsidy that they're the most afraid to lose, obviously, losing their health care for themselves, for their kids. So they know exactly what they can make before they lose that. And so what's happening is we have a lot of great employees in the Upper Cumberland that are not taking raises, they're not taking promotions because they don't want to lose their subsidies. So it's not only hurting them, but it's hurting our workforce and it's hurting our businesses because they're losing out on really good employees and upskilling them.
And that was kind of one of the big objectives of the Empower program, was combating that.
That's right.
The cliff effect.
That's right. And so trying to work on that. We want to make these individuals sustainable, self-sufficient, to where and they're stepped down from TennCare, the marketplace. You can do that for a while, but the goal was to eventually get them to be able to afford their own insurance, whether private or whether through their place of employment. And we saw a lot of that happen.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't think about or realize, is when you're trying to get somebody back on their feet or in some sort of upward mobility, that those subsidies, SNAP benefits, the Families First, all those things that are based on income, they don't just ease you off of it. I mean, they take it.
They yank the rug out from under you. But we did, even we became educated on things. There is a transitional TennCare. There's a 12-month period. The problem is that sometimes it was difficult to get the participant to know they were in that 12-month period.
Yeah.
So they could come up all the way to almost the 12-month transition period being over, and they never even knew they were on it. So then, you tell them, hey, you're out of time. You're losing your TennCare. It's scary. Yeah. I mean, it's scary, and it's really set up in a way, unfortunately, that doesn't really incentivize the person to want to get back out into the workforce. So it's hurting our workforce. It's hurting our economy, the workforce participation rate, things like that.
What do you know that off the top of your head, what the workforce participation rate is?
I should.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere. It's lower in the Upper Cumberland than in my region, which is Northern Middle, and Southern Middle, which is Nashville. So I think it's somewhere. It varies between 48, 52, somewhere in there, I think.
What's the difference between that and the unemployment rate?
Well, the workforce participation rate is the individuals that are able to work and that are actually in the workforce.
I see.
Yeah.
So the unemployment would count people in school or retired as unemployed.
It would count that. It would count people that are on that transition of the unemployment. Unemployment insurance, things like that. Okay. So really, you get a good gauge of your local workforce when you're able to see who's actually able to work and whether they're working or not. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You recently got to spend a little time at the state capitol.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, Mark and Megan and Rosa, we went up there and went before the insurance committee and talked to them about that TennCare benefits cliff. I was encouraged by what I saw the responses were.
Really?
I think just a matter of education. I'm not saying we were educating the insurance committee, but we were trying to help them to understand what these individuals are going through. And then it really is a matter of education for our employers, because they don't know. They have no idea they have these people working for them, and they have no idea, why they're like, okay, we're going to give you a raise, we're going to give you a promotion. They're like, no, we can't
that's
take
a good point.
Yeah, so we're trying to do both. We're trying to educate the employee and the employer.
It's a big job.
It is.
It's a big job.
Yeah, I got a good team though.
Good
team.
We talked a lot about all the different parts for an economy, the transportation, employers, education. This is what we're talking about, is an ecosystem.
That's right.
What part does workforce development play in the recovery ecosystem?
Yeah, so And this kind of ties back into the funds that we manage at Workforce. We manage all the WIOA funds, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act funds. So that deals with the dollars that flow down federally through the state Department of Labor, and then they are given out to the local workforce boards. Okay, so that's helping your adults that need training, need to get back out into the workforce. That's helping your dislocated workers, those that have lost their jobs and need to get back out into the workforce, and it's helping your youth. And there's different kind of youth grants that we work with. Tennessee did a Tennessee Youth Employment Program where we're trying to get youth ages 14 to 24 to do work experiences to kind of get an idea of what work looks like and what a job looks like, and instead of just throwing them to the wolves, right? I know a lot of times we think, oh, they graduated from school, they must be able to do this, but a lot of times they're not quite ready for the things, especially now when you can get half of your college credits in high school. It's a lot different than when we were in school.
Yeah.
That was impossible, right?
Yeah.
But today, they're coming out of high school and they only have to go to school for another year or two, and they're in the workforce. So, we got a lot of young folks in the workforce, and that's a great thing.
Right.
A lot of good young folks in the workforce. We got to make sure they're ready for that, because I always say it's easy to get a job, but it's not always easy to live with that job, right? And learning how to budget your money, learning how to take care of things, and learning how to, juggle the things if you have kids, and juggling all those different things with a job.
Yeah.
It's just something that, that's a struggle. So part of the money that we, the funds that we manage, one grant in particular was a CRRG grant. That's a reentry grant. So we got this money back in November and had till June to spend it.
Oh, wow.
That happens.
Yeah, it does.
That happens.
Yeah,
so it's fun when that happens, because you're up against the gun, but it makes you really have to hit the ground running. So essentially that CRRG grant is we partnered with a company called Origin, and they have a program called Tooling U, which a lot of our local jails will have tablets from the state in their jails.
Oh, wow.
And so they put this Tooling U program on these tablets that are already in the jails, so they have access to them 24/7. And the Tooling U program is a manufacturing certification. It's a nationally recognized manufacturing certification. So they go through about 29 hours worth of training on that, and when they come out and they're done with that, they test, they pass the test, they get this nationally recognized certification that they can now put on their resume, I also oversee the American Job Centers.
Okay.
So the Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, we won't go into all that.
There's so many acronyms and titles and things. Don't worry about that.
It's alphabet soup at the state
soup,
and local level.
Yeah.
But Title III, they help create the resumes for these individuals.
Okay.
They put this certification on there. Now we've done something, right? We haven't just gotten them out of jail and say, okay, now you're on your own. We're wrapping around them with these services and with the things that are going to help them to succeed. Mm-hmm. So they take these resumes to our manufacturers. They see this nationally recognized certification on there, and a lot of our manufacturers are great to work with the justice involved. So we got such a great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Talk about that ecosystem, because we need that.
Yeah.
We don't need them saying, oh, they've been in jail. What's up there, right? And what we need are people that will support these individuals, because the best way you can reduce that recidivism is to get them into a job and keep them busy.
Yes.
and get them sustainable and self-sufficient.
And not only that, you're giving them purpose.
That's
and
right.
Hope again that, okay, I'm not just going to be this way. they're giving me an avenue to better myself and get out of here with a foot up instead of down.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's huge.
Governor Lee saw that. That was a big initiative for him because, I can't exactly quote him, but he essentially said, we shouldn't just write somebody off because they made one mistake.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah. There's no logical reason I should be sitting here talking to you because of my past.
Yeah.
That's huge. And not only the governor, but shout out to the jails that are allowing you to come in, the sheriffs and jail administrators. Where are you doing that at?
So we've gotten into 2 so far. One at White County. They were the first one to work with us, and they're great to work with. They really care about their individuals. They want to make sure that when they do get out, they don't want to see them again, right? They want to make sure, like you said, they're wrapping around supports in their lives and giving them purpose and hope. So, and then also we got into Putnam County with Sheriff Eddie Ferris. He's a friend of mine, and he's a great supporter of what we're trying to do.
Wow.
So we're excited about that.
Nice. What's the future look like for workforce development in the region, or just whatever you can share, or you hope?
I mean, I hope. I'm excited about the partnerships that we've been able to reestablish here with UCDD, UCHRA. Got a lot of great folks here, and Ryan, we're sitting down, we're writing grants, and
we're just seeing what sticks.
I've got some of my team members that are working with you on some of those grants. You want to talk about the one y'all are working on right now?
It's sort of like the reentry. It sounds like there's going to be more wraparound, and there's a category for more training.
Yeah.
Really, all it is, it's an on-ramp.
Mm-hmm.
It's to help people that are at the rock bottom, have nowhere else to go, and it's just an opportunity to get them set up to succeed when they get out. We're our side's providing the recovery support.
Yep.
That's essential while they're spending the time locked up. To work on those skills to make them a better employee, and we can come along and help them figure out life.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I've got a picture on my office door of a guy spinning plates.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Is like all these plates.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my kids back. I'm just trying to figure out how to manage a checkbook. I'm trying to figure out what does it mean to be a good employee, and how do I do this, and all these things. The ecosystem comes together to piece that for them.
But you talk about mental health, right? I know we're working on some stuff there that I'm really excited about with UCHRA, and I'm glad that topic's being brought to the forefront. And people need to understand it's a real thing, and we need to help individuals that are struggling with that, and we need to get our employers to understand what it's like to work with these individuals, to help them. They may need they may need a little extra help, but that's okay. I mean, you're going to get a great employee out of them, right? It's the same for addiction.
Yeah.
We've been talking about all these things.
All the things, and that's something else that's exciting with all the things we're working on together with Michael Miller and our recovery friendly workforce.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's top down and bottom up. It's coming all together.
It's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to get everybody to see in the Upper Cumberland. We do apprenticeships. We do. I mean, I don't know how long this show is. I could go a long time talking about.
Take your time.
Incumbent worker training dollars that we offer to our local businesses where they can do trainings, and we pay for those trainings for them, for their employees. And then also the apprenticeships where they're transitioning, and that's something that the state is really big on. They've doing the micro credentialing, so they're trying to get people that are already in a job, right? And that's one of the things. Let's go back to these justice involved individuals. When they get out and they go to a factory or to manufacturing or something. Now, when I was in manufacturing, that was 25 plus years ago. It was hot. It was dirty.
Yeah.
It was not a place you wanted to be, right?
Yeah.
It's changed a lot, right?
Really?
It's a lot cleaner. You've got your advanced manufacturing in a lot of areas. And so what you're finding is there's opportunities within those places for these participants to move up, for these individuals to move up. And sometimes they need a little upskilling to do that. And so we're able to pay for that upskilling so they don't have to send them back to school, right? They don't have to, they're able to earn money on the job and learn. So it's called the earn and learn model.
Okay.
And so they're moving up and learning while they're still working.
That's amazing.
It's a pretty good model.
Is this in addition to or an alternative to your traditional, go get a degree or go to the TCAT or is that?
I mean, and we're not writing our partners off, right? I mean, our 4-year institutions with Tennessee Tech's our biggest asset in the Upper Cumberland.
For sure.
I mean, so it's going to be right for a lot of people. Our TCATs, great people. Cliff Whiteman, just really good people. Our Ball State, there's opportunities for them still to go and get those 2-year degrees at those institutions, or even those schools could be the trainers on the job. Okay. So we're still working in conjunction.
Everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's just what we have to do to get a sustainable workforce. Retention's still a big problem, and here's why it's a bad problem, Ryan, is because our local employers, especially our small businesses, they'll bring someone in, they'll onboard them. That costs them a lot of money to do that. Well, a week or two later, that person goes across the street because they get $1 more an hour or whatever, and that really hurts. So we want to kind of cut down on that cannibalizing within our own area, and we want to work together. So that's what we're trying to do.
Wow, you got a big job.
It's a big job. Yeah, yeah. It's like I said, thought I knew it when I sat on the executive committee, but no clue really. So a lot of moving parts for sure. But like I said, I got a great team.
Yeah.
Stacy Baxter's my business. And once I start naming names, I get myself in trouble. Right. So she's my business development. Jeremiah Miller's fiscal director. Stacy Thorgerson's the compliance director. And then we just got a lot of great employees that come alongside of them and do a lot of good things.
Man, I sure appreciate you coming. Your time is valuable, and I appreciate that. And the work you're doing over there, I mean, it's tremendous. It's investing in the region. It's investing in the people, and just encouraging, educating employers. And I mean, that's huge. Thank you for doing that.
It's an honor to be here with you, Ryan. Appreciate you, my friend.
One last question.
Yeah.
This one usually stumps everybody.
Yeah.
What's one thing about Ryan Barnhart that can't be found on a resume or profile page?
Oh, boy. It does stump. I mean, I've already mentioned I did ministry. Still am doing ministry, but I guess you could find that on a resume or profile page. Well, being born in Ohio, I'm a Bucknut, man. I'm a Buckeye.
If I had known that.
Yeah, so that's something. It's really sweet because my parents are still with us and they live on our property. So my dad and I get to watch the games every Saturday together, and you don't know how much longer you get a chance to do that. So you got to cherish that, and so that's really nice. And he and I actually went to the 2014 championship game.
Oh wow!
In Texas.
That's
so
awesome.
we saw the Buckeyes win the national title live. So
go Buckeyes!
Yeah. So that's I guess that's something.
That's nice. Would you mind telling our audience how they can get a hold of you or find out more about the Workforce Connections?
Yeah, of course. So best way to get a hold of me is my email. It's rbarnhart@ucworkforce.org. So just go to our website and you'll be able to find us there.
Good.
All of our services.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was beneficial to you. Find out more about UCHRA. Just visit uchra.org.